welcome back to another episode of WTF Walk the Floors. I'm Stephanie Ledger with First Rate Hospitality, and I'm joined with my co host, Michele Kline of Kline Hospitality. And we have a special episode. We are putting Michele in the hot seat. She just released her new book. It's so exciting. How are you doing today, Michele?
Doing fantastic. And thank you so much, Stephanie, for doing this, right? Back and forth, Q&A, and allowing
Yes.
me the space and the time to promote the book.
Yes, absolutely. So let's first dive in. Let's talk about the title 360 Impact, a guide to live, lead, and serve in a more colorful world. So, what inspired you to write this book?
It is all about connection, right? In the last few years, we realized that everyone is caught in a hamster wheel. And the reality is that in 2020, we had that opportunity to pause in many cases and look at life from a very different perspective. And what that did for a lot of people was they were able to pause, reflect, and make some changes. And then for other people, they were able to pause, reflect, and no changes were made. So the idea with this book, which is a compilation of absolutely everything that I've learned in during my career related to leadership, is to provide a manual where you have all these little gems and you can go back to and make reference to them, and create a space where people can start really connecting with their human side, not only on a personal level, but also the way that we lead others around us, and the things that we do as human beings, whether it is at a, through an interaction and at a register, or when we are serving teams or educating our children. So the whole point and the inspiration behind the book is to help humans remember that we're human and that connection is absolutely everything.
All right, awesome. And then, how would you say your book is different from those other leadership books that are out there?
I love that question, Stephanie. So it is very different in many ways. On the one hand, it's the one place, like I said, it's supposed to be a manual where you're not going to find absolutely everything you need to know, but it's highlights, takeaways. Every chapter has a quick brief of the takeaways. Every chapter has an area of opportunity for the reader to reflect on themselves, and then to look at the way the concept is applicable both from a personal perspective and a professional perspective. So there's a little bit of everything and an opportunity for it all.
That's great. And I love also too the quick and direct, just like our episodes, we know that even for our viewers and listeners that they don't want that encyclopedia. And that, this is great that for your book to being able to giving those overviews.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So now also to let's start talking about what is like one book that has profound an impact on your leadership philosophy?
So it's hard to narrow it down to one book because I'm a bit of a nerd and I absolutely love reading specifically about leadership and anything self-development. So I would say two books. On the one hand,
Yeah.
it was The Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. And then on the other hand, it was Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi.
Mm-hmm.
Two great reads. I highly encourage anyone to go out there and give it a try.
All right. And now let's also to talk about the beginning of writing this book. How did you come up with saying, okay, I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. And here it is.
All right. So all of that was years of reflection. In 2021, I participated in the first collaboration, and I was the owner of one specific chapter under a specific label and title. And then from there, it was six more. And then the whole time, it was a learning experience for me, right? Not only looking into like that introspect into my career and and my life as a whole. But then how do I put that in one place? So that's when
Mhm.
book came to life. And I selected very specific topics, with a lot of intentionality behind them. And then I talk about growth, I talk about gratitude, purpose, connection, integration, collaboration. Then I close out with a bonus chapter that is all about belief. And it's been a great way to say, okay, how do I bring this to life? But then the challenge was, do I write a leadership book? And there's thousands of leadership books out there. Do I want to write a self development book? And do I want people to be able to reflect on it? That's my coach side coming out, and like, you have to do the work,
Mhm.
thoughts to paper. So the biggest challenge, I think, was like putting all of that into one place.
Mhm. So many topics.
Yes.
Well, then you are ready for book number 2. So let's go into some rapid fire questions. So let's talk about, if you could have dinner with one historic leader, who would that be?
Definitely Albert Einstein. And I think that
All
in every
right.
stage of your life, that the answer to that question might be different.
Yeah.
Right now, I would love to pick his brain.
Oh,
Brilliant
yes.
brain.
Oh, yes. I agree. I think that would be the conversation. It would definitely be a 4-hour dinner.
For sure.
All right. Then also to what is your go-to activity to recharge and find balance on a busy life? Being a mom, a CEO, where do you go to being like, okay, I'm ready to do it again?
It's a simple answer for me. Anything on water, and water in any shape or form, whether it is
Yes.
snowboarding down a slope of snow, or ice skating, or paddleboarding, or sailing. Anything on water just brings me peace, and it's a great way to disconnect. Now, disconnecting doesn't need to be complicated, and that's something that I
Yeah.
talk about on the book as well, where if you want to have an integrated life, you can totally find little techniques that will help you throughout the day to keep that motivation and that creativity flowing.
I love it. And I love it too. Well, I'm more of a warm water person, but it's great that you like it on both sides, cold and warm environments.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite quote or mantra that you live by?
So favorite quote is tough because like I said, I like to read a lot. So there's a lot of collection of quotes in my head. But I have a mantra that I definitely live by, and that is, we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. And I repeat it 3 times or more, at least 3 times, so that my brain gets it and believes in it. But then on the other hand, I do it in plural, because I do believe that more than one person in that point in time in the world somewhere is feeling the overwhelm, is feeling
Yeah.
the nervousness of getting on a stage, is feeling the that little voice that gets in your head when you're about to present on a proposal, whatever that looks like, whether you're tired, frustrated, you can do it. So
Yeah.
it's a way of spreading the love and spreading the energy, but at the same time centering myself, so that um, I can keep going and keep the flow.
All right. And how many, I'm sure you have probably said that quote so many times going through your book, writing your book as well.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you a quick personal story.
Mm.
I repeat that mantra out loud, right? I gotta convince myself in those
Yeah.
moments. And my children have gotten used to it. So in moments where perhaps, I'm in the kitchen and I have all these things on fire, they will come to me and say, "You can do it, mommy. You can do it. We can do it." Right? So
Oh,
it's a cool way to cascade the teachings too.
I love it. So we always have a WTF before we get to the WTF of writing this book and going through that journey. Is there anything else that you want to review about the book? Also to where can anyone be able to get a copy of the book as well?
Yeah. So the book was first released on Amazon. It hit several best-selling categories in within 72 hours of release. So that was a huge milestone and one of the objectives that I had for the book. And so you can find it on the Kindle version or paperback on Amazon or online on any retail store. So Target or Walmart or Barnes and Nobles, you name it. And
Wonderful.
hopefully we'll get to Audible by the end of the year, but I don't want to say much yet.
Ooh, can't wait. Oh, well, this is great. I'm so proud of you. But let's get into that WTF moment. Did you have any WTF moments during your journey writing this book?
Yes, like anyone in any project, you have many WTF moments. But I would say that if I had to highlight one, it would most definitely be the fact that I set a very aggressive timeline for the book to publish for myself. And I got to the point where I had to submit my first draft, and it was a specific amount of chapters. And my publisher sends me a note saying, we are on deadline. What's going on? And I had major writer's block. So at the point where I'm getting to this deadline, I was flowing, but I was flowing in a way where I couldn't just focus on the chapters that they were hoping to receive. I was working on the
Mm-hmm.
entire book at the same time. So I reached out to them and I said, guys, you know that I will deliver. I had worked with them in the past in all of the other collaborations. So they were like, okay, we got you. Just make sure that, if you want us to extend, we can always extend. I'm like, no, we're doing this. We're keeping the same deadlines. You will have something by X date, and also advising them like, you'll get a dump, you'll get the whole
Yeah.
thing. At that point, it's on you, right? Like a hot potato. So I think that to narrow it down, it was like going through that major writer's block, and on the other hand, the aggressive deadlines that I set for myself, and then hoping and praying for my publisher to be okay with it. Yeah, so
Well,
that was definitely my WTF moment.
oh yeah, and you made the deadline, which is great.
I did. Yes. Yes.
Well, congratulations again. This is a great journey to watch you go on. I can't wait for more books to be released and seeing what's next in store for you. And yes, our viewers and listeners, definitely check out Michele Kline's book, 360 Impact, a guide to live, lead, and serve in a more colorful world.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.